Good afternoon, Miami. David Winker. I am so happy to be here with Betty Vasquez running for Sweetwater Commission. Welcome, Betty.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here.
So explain for our listeners who aren't familiar with Sweetwater, what are we talking about? Where is the city of Sweetwater?
Sweetwater is located next to pretty much FIU. So we're based on 107th Avenue between 8th Street, Flagler. We do also have an annexation with Dolphin Mall area, so all the way a little bit till Northwest 25th Street. So we have grown throughout the years, but most of you probably know us as right next to FIU, and that's where Sweetwater is located.
How long have you been living in Sweetwater?
I was raised in Sweetwater all my life. So ever since probably 1990, I was there. So I was there for Hurricane Andrew. I was small. I went to Sweetwater Elementary. So I lived there all my life and grew up there.
And we know each other from a couple of different community activities. We were joking around with Grant Miller and Michael Miller here at Community Newspapers about making them guess that we knew each other from salsa dancing.
Yes.
We know each other from tennis tournament.
Yes, from volunteering, from all these many events that you do. And you're actually one of my highest mentors, and I learn a lot. You taught me to get involved with the community, to get involved in ways of helping, making it better. And you're the reason why I've been involved in so many of these events.
Well, I got to tell you, so in full disclosure, like when you called me and said, I mean, what was that, a year ago, 6 months ago?
Yes.
You said, I'm running for Sweetwater Commission. I personally couldn't have been more excited. Like I love, they always say, like, we get the government, we get the government we deserve, and we deserve the government we get. And we need good candidates. And I think, we're going to get into some of the interesting things you do. And your background, you're not a typical politician.
Correct. You're correct. So I actually work for Baptist Health South Florida. I work in the IT department. I've been there for over 12 years. So I'm really into project management, into corporate life. So politics has been a very different path that I've taken. So this is new, but still, I still have that calling to have serve at a higher level. And when you have that calling, I think any experience you have will just make you a better person and make you help serve your city in a better way.
Tell me about that personal journey. One of the things that I remember when we first met 10 years ago, you were very active traveling, and you had an amazing travel blog, and you would write about those experiences. And now to run, we were talking beforehand, and I always ask how running is. I'm going to ask that question, but I kind of know how running is because I was volunteering at the tennis tournament. I was sending you pictures from the tennis tournament, and you were sending me pictures of
food distributions. So while he was in the sun, hanging out, watching tennis,
really cool tennis, you were
sitting down. I'm like, these boxes are heavy, but I got to do it. And handing them out, putting them in in people's trunks. So this year has been different. Actually, since October was when my journey to campaign actually started. So ever since then, I've met so many wonderful people. This has been a really positive journey, even though I know campaign has been can be messy sometimes. I'm really grateful that this has helped me meet new people, meet new opportunities. Like I'm here with you, David.
Exactly. Here we are.
So thank you for that. So it has been an incredible journey, and it all started because I want to help. I want to help the community out. What can I do to make something better, to help you?
Tell me, what are some of the issues? So let me ask this question. So it's interesting. Sweetwater, we were talking about earlier, is a town of 25, 30,000 people. Mm-hmm. But it's always to me, it's always punched above its weight. I mean, it's a town. I mean, maybe because it's FIU's there, the Dolphin Mall. We all go there. We spend time there. It's a vibrant, diverse place. Why do you think it's in the news a lot?
It's in the news for the wrong reasons. And of course, when I started my campaign journey, everybody at work, when I mentioned, I'm running for Commissioner of City of Sweetwater, all they could think of is, wait, wasn't that city full of fraud? Weren't they in the news last year? So I want to change that perspective. I grew up in that city. I do not want it to continue being bashed. I want to, as I meet the residents, as I keep knocking on doors, what do they say? And most of them say, we just want a positive change. We want to be in the news for something positive. And that's that. And I agree with them wholeheartedly. I don't want the next time we're in the news, I don't want it to be for something negative. Let's do something positive. Let's do a nice change so that we can have good news about Sweetwater. Have people learn more about it besides Dolphin Mall and
FIU.
And FIU.
I mean, tell me about what are some of the issues that the community is facing right now?
One of the issues, well, we do have several issues. One of them is the garbage issue. We have, lack of elderly resources. But the good news that I want to counteract that is that the city has been doing a lot of things for the community. We've actually held the FEMA. We've been a distribution site for the vaccines for FEMA. So that has helped all the elderly who can't really drive or don't have cars, just walk right across the street. I know the city has been partnering with a lot of mammogram services. So we've been doing things to help out the community. So it has its issues, but we also, are doing things to help benefit the residents there. So I'm very proud of that, and I want to continue that. And I like hearing those type of news.
What has been the most, this is the first time you run for office?
Yes, it has been an interesting journey.
And you haven't taken any time off from work?
No. So
this is like nights and weekends?
Yes. So I work 9 to 5. I do this on my lunch break.
We're here on your lunch break.
Yes, we're here on lunch break. I go back to meetings. Then I have the key to the advice everybody has mentioned is that you have to walk, knock on doors. And that's the key. So after work, I knock on doors, and that has been a very humbling experience because before I used to live in Sweetwater, but I just wanted to really sleep. I work here in Coral Gables, South Miami, eat, a happy hour, hang out, etc.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just went to Sweetwater to sleep. So during this past year, it has given me a chance to know my neighbors, to learn more about what are their issues, what are their concerns, So it has been a humbling experience. And this is what helps me learn what the city needs. What do the residents, what do they think? I would like to be their voice, help them be heard. That's what they need to be heard.
What's been the most surprising aspect? Has anything surprised you about campaigning? Is there anything that...
The people I've met, to me, politics seems to be a little messy, a little, shady. But that at least I'm thankful my journey, that perspective has been incorrect. I've met people who just want to see young people succeed. They want to see a change of Sweetwater. They want to see good things happen in the news. And when I knock on doors, they see, I'm so happy that young people are running. We need a new energy. And I tell them a little bit about my background as well. And they appreciate the loyalty I have with the companies, or with Baptist Health in this case, and that they feel that they can also trust someone like me to be loyal to.
It's interesting you say that because I'm older than you, and I feel that way when I see young people getting involved. You feel this sense of like, oh, the future's gonna be okay. Like it's like seeing people step up like you, respected, doing it for the right reason. And I think it makes us feel better that like, okay, the future's in good hands, right?
Yes.
Like I think that sometimes the older people, even though they're like, oh, I may not agree with everything this young whippersnapper thinks, but at least they're throwing their hat in the ring, and let's start having a discussion about what this means and what's happening. So I'm really glad that you're getting that positive feedback.
Thank you. And throughout this journey, of course, the end goal is to win being commissioner of
yes, very important.
That is the end goal. But throughout this journey, it has given me connections with the residents. I've been able to talk, to learn more. I'm like, I know this person. I've never been to this side of the city, but now I have a a neighbor, a friend that I can pass by and talk to anytime. I now know my childhood parents still live here. So it's been, knocking on these doors has really been eye-opening for me. And it'll just help me more become a better politician, councilwoman, commissioner, or a better person. Either way, it's a win-win for me.
I got to tell you, you said something that I think was very provocative to me. Is when we put labels on each other about like resident, business owner, patron at a restaurant, it is interesting how we consume in different cities. And I never thought about what you said. Like, you're a young person, you work in South Miami, you socialize in South Miami, you go out to eat and social, in different places. And I wonder what'll come of that, where in some of these communities that they really are where you go home to sleep and you don't go out for commerce. And I wonder if there's something that will come of that as far as like getting we talked about, we know each other from dance, and we would go to salsa lovers.
Yes.
And it's really hard when you're out there. There's not a lot of restaurants.
Correct.
We need more restaurants.
Yes.
We need more bars.
Restaurant businesses, and that's the key. That hoping that, and that's actually came up with one of the residents that I spoke to. They actually asked me, they're like, do you want to change or transform? And I go, no, I've lived here. I want to transform the city. There's nothing to change. I mean, the city it's a beautiful city. I grew up in it. It does need improvement. I do emphasize on that, but there's no need to change or bash it or anything. Instead, transform it. What can we do? Can we have beautiful canopies, just like Coral Gables? Can we bring murals like in Wynwood? What can we do to attract people to enjoy the city more?
Yeah, and I got to tell you something. I don't have any what would I call it, like data to back this up, but my perception is it's a young city. There's a lot of young people, and I think you're going to see as an affordable place to start a family. You can actually afford to buy property there.
Yes.
Out west. And I've always told people, it's like, oh my God, just buy out there. Like, I think FIU is going to be an engine driver. I have said for 20 years, I went to FSU, I went to Florida for law school. And I've always said, I fully expect FIU to surpass both those institutions eventually because of the locale in South Florida.
Yes.
And I think we're already seeing it, but I think the growth I don't think that there's an area that may be growing faster than Sweetwater.
Yes. We have so much potential. The city has so much potential to grow. Look, we have buildings coming up now that students are going back to FIU. We're going to see more traffic. So there's a lot of potential for Sweetwater, and it all should be positive. And that's the main goal that I want to emphasize, that, you may have your own opinion of Sweetwater, but we're really we're a city that's growing and improving. I
love it. Let's let everyone know, how can they get a hold of you, look at your platform, get information, give money, importantly.
Yes, country. That's a big learning thing. I'm not a fan of selling, and I'm like, oh my goodness, contributions, walking, networking. It has really expanded my network and my growth. So you can reach me at Betty Vasquez Sweetwater. So that is Betty Vasquez Sweetwater in Facebook.
With a Z, Vasquez with two Z's.
Q-U-E-Z. Yes, S and then a Z.
S and a Z.
Yes, and BettyVasquezSweetwater.com.
Great.
And that's where you can reach me.
And when's the election?
Elections are May 11th, so it's right around the corner, and absentee ballots are already in people's mailboxes right now.
That is awesome. Well, good. Yeah. Well, please feel free to reach out to Betty, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me.
After this is over, we're going to have you on, and then we can really start beating you up. Yes. What have you done for us?
I'll come back. I'll be prepared for that one. I'll come back, David. Round 2.
Awesome. Thank you, Miami, for tuning in. We're here at Miami Community Newspapers, the hub of local news. Betty, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, David.